In 2023, I had an opportunity to fly over the location of our family farm. This is a chance to compare some of the old photos to today. The place where I grew up is located in western Wisconsin. It's in a county called Pierce. Pierce County is divided into a grid of 6 mile by 6 mile squares called townships. Our township was named Heartland. Our family farm consisted of 200 acres located on Pierce County Highway D. Our parents, Bill and Shirley, bought the property in 1943 and put the first crops in the spring of 1944. Thereafter, there were 30 years of successful farming until they finally sold the property in 1973. When we moved to the farm in 1944, there was a barn, a house, a well, and various outbuildings. There was no electricity whatsoever and no piped-in water. The old barn was a hand-hewn timber frame construction of about 100 feet long and 30 feet wide. A large cement silo was added later. There was also a chicken coop and, of course, the house itself. The house was a prairie style and was constructed in the 1930s. There were 6 bedrooms, a full basement, and no bathrooms of any sort. The Second World War was still on, so electrical supplies were extremely hard to get. But Dad managed to convince the REA to hook us up. The barn and house were wired that spring. Indoor plumbing and an indoor toilet were added in 1954, just as I was about to start high school. This photo was taken in July of 1970. Unfortunately, the photo had some damage over the years, as you can see with that crease across the picture. But you can still see the features of the farm. In this picture, the airplane is facing south above County D. We are looking out the pasture window to the west. Our farm buildings are near the lower edge of the picture in front of the wing. You can see the house and barn and various outbuildings. Most of the original 120 acres is visible, with 80 acres of crop, pasture, and woods south of the farmstead. Then looking to the right side of the picture, there is the North 40, including some stripped fields. In the lower left of the window, there is a power station and a road going east. There's another 80 acres of the farm southeast of that intersection to make up the rest of the farm's 200 acres. The house has seen some major changes over the years. The front porch is gone. There are new entrances to the side, and there are probably major changes inside that we can't see. The old barn and silo are gone. The hill leading to the hay mow is also gone. A new, smaller barn is in its place. Definitely not doing dairy anymore. Dad built that shed using timbers that came out of the old Red Wing Bridge. Looking north along County Highway D, we see the nearest neighbor about a quarter of a mile away. The road past the substation goes to Herbert. When we were on the farm, there was a school, a store, and a small telephone exchange in Herbert. I'm sure all of that is long gone at this point. Across the road is the 80 acres that was added to the original 120 acres to make a total of 200. We walked this road down to the school, which was about 1 mile away. Panning back across the pasture and fields, we'll get to look at the new barn. The North 40 is still a field, but the stripes are gone. We are now on the western edge of the farm. This was a really good field, surrounded by good pasture. As kids, our earliest chores involved driving home the cows from this pasture. It was about a mile if you followed the cow paths, and it was a good trek for a 6-year-old. That road leads to some new houses built back in the old pasture. Looking northwest, the neighborhood looks very much as I remembered it. Lots of green foliage and great spaces between all the neighbors. When my folks sold the farm, they kept back 2 acres to build a retirement home on. After Mom died, Dad sold the retirement property in 1988. More subdividing is going on the 80 across from the retirement property. New elaborate homes are replacing good farmland. So there you have it. Lots of changes over 70 years, but the neighborhood still looks familiar. I do hope you have enjoyed my trip down memory lane. My memories of the old family farm will always be with me.